Australia's greatest moments in cheating. Now, do you want to take a guess why you're wearing an Essendon jumper and I'm wearing a Melbourne Storm jersey? What do they have in common?
Well, both teams are obviously from the same city. Or
I think you just picked it. Two of Australia's most famous
not
cheats.
this shit again. Fucking hell.
Same old Aussies always cheating. Johnny Bairstow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Set off the crowd.
That pommy twat.
He's my hero.
Ah, fuck him. I'm sorry. Fuck that gingered head prick, quite frankly. You stay in your crease. You little annoying shit.
I don't know if you saw recently the interview that came out where I think it was Marcus Harris was they were asking him about it. He's like, "Well, you guys write the fucking rules."
I was like, you write the rules, you fucking idiots. Not our fault.
Yeah.
So literally the people who write the rules were the ones complaining.
I know. This is the best part about it. All English media, all English people, cricketers, were whinging like fucking stuck pigs about this shit. Unbelievable. Stay in your crease, you redhead fat little idiot.
You can say that because you're also fat, so.
I am fat.
One of the benefits of putting on weight is you can
Exactly.
call people fat.
I can call people fat. I am over 100 kilos.
You probably weigh more than him, actually.
I probably do, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't have the weights online, so we don't know.
Yeah, because you know what's happened in this day and age?
You're not allowed
Putting
to
a
tell people's
professional athlete's weight, publicizing that is considered like not body positivity crap.
Our next cheating example is fine cotton. Have you heard of fine cotton?
Not from memory.
So fine cotton was a horse that happened to have paint dropping off it. So basically what happened was in 1984, fine cotton won a race at Eagle Farm in Brisbane. Oh. Some punters yelled, "Ring in," and they were right. The horse is actually Bold Personality who races as fine cotton.
I did read about this at some point back in the day.
In a scam perpetuated by some of the biggest names in Australian racing. 6 people are banned from racing for life and 2
That's right. Yeah.
went to jail. Now, do you want to explain what happened at Essendon?
Supplement scandal. 2012?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, they got caught blind.
Everyone keeps saying jabby, jabby, stabby, stabby. Apparently, the Essendon Football Club and the 34 players took performance-enhancing substance. Well, the players didn't think they were doing the wrong thing at the time.
Yeah, I don't think I've done the wrong thing by taking performance-enhancing drugs either.
Shut up.
I think that they didn't know exactly what they had.
I don't think the players knew what they were actually doing or taking.
But technically that is wrong on
which
their end
isn't
too.
which isn't actually an excuse.
I mean, it is, but at the same time,
No, it's not an excuse.
Under the laws of the thing,
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, but
It's
it
not
is
an
actually
excuse.
an excuse.
Because
Because if your boss tells you to do something and they have experts that are like, here, do that.
well, yeah, they thought they were taking something that in all their research wasn't actually banned.
But also, it's not like they're supposed to do like extreme testing.
Yeah.
Like they get held responsible, but realistically, they shouldn't.
Well, the reality is clubs are the ones who are trying to provide all this stuff that.
Yeah, the club should have the doctors to do it. But yeah.
Also, here's the
nevertheless-
thing. The doctor was cleared for any wrongdoing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he created a high-performance team, didn't he?
In terms of medical, well.
They've done
clearly
well since
wasn't-
then, right?
Clearly wasn't fucking high performance enough.
They've done well since then, right?
Shut up.
Have they won the league since then?
That's not even the worst of it.
How many finals have they won since then?
Essendon hasn't won a final since I was 15 years old. How many days is it? Because I know it's somewhere on X these days.
It's way over 7,000.
There's an X account.
There's an X account or a Twitter account days since Essendon have won a final.
Yeah.
And it's well over 7,200. So
I
every
thought it-
day
I
they just
thought it
post
was-
a new day.
I thought it was closer to 8,000
Nah.
at this point.
Nah, you're still near the
Because
you're still closer to the 7,000s than the 8,000s. So doing well.
come on, Bombers, please, this year, can we?
So what's that, like 10 years?
It's 20 years, basically.
So in the middle of that,
You know what the irony was? We started off that season like 8-1 or 9-1 or something.
well, I wonder
and
why. I don't know about the irony. Like maybe that was a reason to question.
Oh, God.
If you don't win a final for 10 years and then all of a sudden you're on top of the league, maybe there's questions that need to be asked.
Anyway.
Just off the surface of it. And now this is going off Australia, but we did recently have a nice win for Pakistan against the USA in the Cricket World Cup. And like there's nothing dodgy happened.
Nothing sus.
Nothing sus when 19 extras were bowled in the last over.
I actually posted a comment on the ICC official social media page saying match fixing.
I mean, I'm going to say we have no proof of it.
We don't have any proof of it.
We don't have any proof, but
I think I probably should have written nothing sus here instead.
I mean, you know, when you're a software engineer and not a full-time professional cricketer, you can just go beat one of the best sides in the world, and that doesn't sound suspicious.
Well, the
at all.
most suspicious thing, the Pakistan person who bowled the super over in his younger years had been caught match fixing previously.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just a coincidence.
Is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
Nothing to see here whatsoever.
No. Especially when they have 19 extras and half of them were like they threw and completely missed the stumps and then they ran again. Doesn't look suspicious at all.
What's more sus? That the match after 20 overs was a tie, or then that they then lost it in the super over as well?
Yeah, and also nothing sus that in cricket where there's a lot of illegal money on, where I'm sure you're not getting money back if it's a draw. Meaning if it goes into overtime, most people aren't betting on that. And with your dodgy people you're betting with, they probably don't have bonuses where you get your money back.
No, supposedly the scenario is that illegal bookmakers in places like India and Pakistan, when people bet on it, when the result is a tie, no one gets anything at all. Every punter loses literally.
And now no one's picked up on it because there certainly aren't people at the games actually chanting specifically at him, labeling him a fixer. In a viral social media video, spectators can be heard labeling him a fixer as he walked along the boundary line.
Of course.
He was handed a 5-year ban by the ICC for his part in the scandal when he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And now he was very upset. Again, as all innocent people do, he was very upset and reportedly made an offensive gesture with his middle finger. Now, I don't know which gesture that would be, but apparently he wasn't too happy.
I reckon he's going to be pretty happy when he gets home and there's a new car.
I do need to correct myself. It was only 18 runs in an 8-ball over, so that means 2 extra. And again, we have no reason to believe that over was fixed. It just happens to be a wild coincidence.
Just a wild
coincidence.
Oh.
And then in his subsequent match against India, he delivered an exceptional 4-over spell, giving away 23 runs and taking 2 wickets. So this guy...
Pakistan beat India in that match, I think.
Yeah,
from
well,
memory.
I mean, he couldn't bowl out a software engineer, but part-time cricketer, but he could get 2 wickets and almost less than 4 overs against India. Only
to go at less
a
than
country of 1 billion people with some decent cricketers, I guess. Like
to go at less than a runner ball in a World Cup game
against the heated rival,
against one of the favoured teams to win the entire tournament, is an outstanding effort.
And you struggle to bowl out again a software engineer.
You reckon that software engineer might get a contract in the Pakistani Super League?
Nah. No, he's got a very esteemed software engineering
that's
degree.
True. It probably takes more.
Yeah. No, not if you're fixing matches. You know what would be actually funny? If the other guy was earning more than him, and that's why
he is.
Yeah. Imagine it's not even match fixing. These two like had an agreement, and the other guy's like, "Hey, I earn like $1 million at I don't know Microsoft." Look, to be fair, USA as a cricket team is actually better than you would expect because it is people from born in other countries. But at the same time, they're not professionals, so just coincidence. Now, I'm wearing a Melbourne Storm jersey because they may or may not have cheated the salary cap. And by that, I mean they did and they got caught.
Wasn't it the hospitality tent at the end of the...
Just running 2 sets of books, so nothing sus. So they spent over $1.7 million more than the cap allowance. So they were stripped of 2 premierships.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Problem is, who do you give those premierships to?
I don't know, but also I think
It's one thing to strip the teams of the premiership, right? But who do you award them
I don't
to?
think anyone actually wins it. So the way that it worked out, everyone lost. But at the same time, there's a lot of dodgy. I'm just going to subtly say that the NRL may or may not be full of contracts that are a little bit sus.
Of course. There's a lot of sporting people that have contracts that aren't related to what they do professionally as a sport, but are related to other things.
Part of the thing is that actually they don't earn as much as like American sport where it doesn't make sense to pay people. Like if you're already earning $50 million,
Yeah, it
doesn't make sense to work as a software engineer for someone on the side.
I had heard a story that
Look, it's time you admit you've been bribing sports.
no, I
players.
can't.
Well, our next favorite cheating scandal in Australia
Yep.
is Wayne Carey, who was. Now, this is a different form of cheating.
Wayne Carey. Oh,
He may or
boy,
may.
is Wayne Carey up to some good.
He was the captain of the North Melbourne football team and was arguably one of the greatest AFL players and would have gone down, I reckon, as one of the
You
greatest
probably
ever.
put him in the top, at least the top 5.
He would have been the greatest ever. He was the most dominant if he didn't happen to cheat on the vice captain. So as the captain, he may or may not have got caught in a...
He was banging Anthony Stevens as missus, basically.
Who was the vice captain. And didn't they get caught at a party
Yes.
in
they
a
did.
closet? Yeah, with all the team around.
They
So,
were getting up to no good. They got
you
busted.
know, if you're the... Now, this is a slight bit of advice for the kids out there. If you're the captain of a football team and you're sleeping with the vice captain's wife, don't get down and dirty with them in a closet at a party where everyone's there. Just keep it to like when no one else is there. Unless you happen to know that the vice captain is into it and that they would like that kind of
Sharing
thing.
is caring.
Yeah, maybe it's on them. Are you making the point that it's actually Anthony Stevens' fault for being upset about it?
No.
He tore the team apart. They would have dominated. They probably would have won more
They
flags.
probably would have picked up another flag or 2 if it wasn't for this because they were a very good football team at the time.
Yeah. His former teammate Anthony Stevens later says, if you wanted it that bad, you would go to a knock shop, wouldn't you? You wouldn't take your best mate's wife.
Wayne Carey is a man who does what he likes, and he almost doesn't actually understand the consequences of his actions. There have been like subsequent events of things that he has done in
but
public.
Counterpoint, if you want to be that good at football, you need that personality.
You need that. I don't disagree.
So
You do need
kids
to
out
be-
there, forget training. If you want to get good at football,
If
you
you
gotta
actually
act like that.
hold on, if you actually want to be really good in a professional athlete sense, that generally you need to be an extremely selfish person and have an extremely selfish personality. I was listening to something else and they said they reckon golfers are pretty selfish as well. So
No one in golf has ever kicked the ball away from a thing. Speaking of being selfish and whatnot, how about throwing a young teammate under the bus to carry sandpaper for you when you caught on South African TV?
that is bad.
In Sandpapergate, when the Australian cricket team were using sandpaper.
It wasn't good. It was bad.
To make so in cricket, if you make one side of the ball rougher than the other, it makes it swing better and it will move more.
They get the ball and they throw it into the dirt to rough up one side. And then what you do is
You shine
up
one side.
so you shine up the other side with your pants or whatever else so that it helps it swing and move the ball around a bit more.
But if you happen to, I don't know, put sandpaper in
If
like one of the
you are
younger
a
team players.
fucking idiot. And this was like in a
Heroes.
test match.
Yeah, but they didn't have cameras on the whole thing watching them do
I
it.
mean, fuck. You've got more cameras on this thing than when you walk through the middle of the city and you think you're not going to get caught. Like, it's like there in front of the whole world to see.
Now-
Just stupidity.
Now, I think I've come up with a good way where you could cheat in the Olympics with this, right?
Oh, this
Because
will be good.
no one is watching what happens.
No one's watching what's going on in the Olympics.
Yeah, right? So when you're swimming, it would help. It would help if your opponent's lane, someone had dropped a turd in it, right? So pre-race, you drop a turd in your
Drop
opponent.
a turd.
No one's going to see.
Drop a floaty.
Yeah, because no one's filming at the Olympics.
They probably won't, and no pun intended, give a shit.
I think they would.
No, they won't. Because
You don't think they care?
they'll just go straight through the piece of shit
They
and hit the
actually
wall.
would. Ironically, they would.
They would.
It would be
No
kind of an
pun
issue.
intended. They would literally go through shit to hit that wall as fast as possible.
True, but it would be a little bit of a
Oh,
controversy.
it'd be fuck. Of course, it'd
Because-
be controversy.
Because surprising to some people, the whole of the Olympics is on camera.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole of a sporting match with large international teams that are watched by millions of people. That also millions of people are betting on, etc. So if you happen to have sandpaper roughen up a ball, some people might notice it.
Oh, that was
As
good.
is what happened with the Australian cricket team, who somehow thought that they could get away with it.
You know what I found funnier about that whole situation, right? Not that they did it and not that they caught. Like, that was just dumb and dumb of those idiots. But the actual responses from the whole incident was hilarious. The ICC, the International Cricket Council, how long do you reckon they banned the 3 players for?
Oh, just a couple of weeks.
Exactly. It was like 1 or 2 test matches they got bans for.
Oh, really?
That was it.
I thought they were out for like a year.
But do you know what Cricket Australia did instead?
What?
They banned them for a whole year.
Yeah.
Because literally this action, right? If like Pakistan or India or any of the subcontinent nations did it, they'd just cop the ban and move on. They'd just be like, yeah, we're trying to do some dodgy shit again. And yeah, we got busted. Okay, we'll cop the penalty and move on. Whereas Australia went, oh, we're all high and mighty. Oh, we've got to show that we're proper and that we're taking the proper sort of action. I mean, seriously, they were trying to cheat. They got caught. You just cop your sanction from the international body and move on. The press they copped as it was bad enough as it was enough punishment.
Well, yeah, their personal
anyway.
like losing the money. Then also
personally they got
sponsoring.
ruined.
They
Yeah,
lost.
everything.
So Cricket Australia lost a $20 million thing. Then
That
they
was
lost.
yeah.
They lost. Well, their TV rights deal. They reckon lost a heap of money from
Yeah.
it too. So yeah,
The damage was done. It wasn't going to make a difference.
I mean, it made a massive difference.
No,
and they had
no,
to do
but
something
I'm
about it.
saying Cricket
Oh
Australia
no,
wanted-
yeah, they should have just let it go.
No, but what are Cricket Australia going to do to help the situation? Do you
Ban
think-
them so
do you
that they
think
come off as
Well, what is
morally
banning them
right.
for a year? How can they be morally right when they've already been caught with their hand in the cookie jar in the first place anyway?
look.
You
Cricket
don't
is
get
a straight.
any morality back when you've been busted.
Cricket has always been a gentleman's game.
Bullshit.
Played by gentlemen. never
Johnny
been
Bairstow is not a fucking gentleman. That redhead fat little shit from England is not a fucking gentleman.
We're literally
okay?
not even talking about him anymore.
I don't care.
We're talking about Australian idols such as Shane Warne.
Shane Warne. A gentleman doesn't describe Shane Warne.
I think it
Shane
does.
Warne is a legend. That is how you describe
gentleman.
Shane Warne.
A gentleman who betted Elizabeth Hurley.
I know.
But more than that, he also, a day before the 2003 World Cup starts in South Africa again, he's sent home after failing a drugs test. Now, he blamed the whole thing on his mum. He said his
Yeah, I
mum
know he's threw his mum under the
gave
bus
him a
on that.
diuretic pill so he could get rid of his double chin. His excuse for getting caught drug cheating was that I felt insecure about the way I look and my double chin.
That's the biggest bullshit.
The pill did contain things that aid temporary weight loss, but substances which can also serve as masking agents for performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
He had completed a rapid recovery from shoulder surgery, but he says it took the pill solely for vanity. But he did get banned for a year as well.
Yeah, he copped a year bad. Yeah.
How dare his mom do that to him? You obviously remember the 1909 Rugby League Grand Final.
Yes.
One of the great grand finals. In terms of actually cheating, it is. South Sydney and Balmain unofficially agreed to boycott the grand final in protest, right? Now, this is the greatest way ever to win a grand final, and I think you're going to agree with me when you hear what they did. So they unofficially agreed to skip the grand final and boycott it out of protest because New South Wales Rugby League plans for a match between Australian Rugby Union and Rugby League teams that will upstage the final.
Yeah.
So they're upset that this game was going to be organized. And now this is the greatest way ever to win a grand final, I think. So both teams agree on like skipping this and out of protest.
Which team showed up?
Yep, exactly. But unknown to Balmain, South Sydney turn up ready to play and are given the title as Balmain are deemed to have forfeited. And I think it's important to note that Russell Crowe is the owner of that team now. Yeah. And so that's all on Russell Crowe.
It's all on Rusty.
How dare you steal the 1909 Rugby League World Cup, Russell Crowe?
It's all on Rusty.
Talk about freedom. Freedom to steal a World Cup.
Good on him.
We can't mention Australian cheating without the legendary underarm ball.
Oh, yes.
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Last ball.
With one ball of the final over remaining in the match, New Zealand required a 6 to tie the match. So that means they have to hit it out on the full, which is hard enough on its own. Like any regular ball generally.
In this day and age of cricket, balls get sent over the fence every 2 or 3 balls.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
In this day and age, anyone batting has a good chance of hitting the 6, but even you can bowl the right ball where it's neon. It's bloody hard to do.
Yeah.
But to ensure that New Zealand were unable to achieve this, the Australian captain, Greg Chappell, instructed his bowler and younger brother,
Ian.
Trevor.
Oh, was it Trevor Chappell?
Trevor Chappell to deliver the last ball to batsman underarm along the ground. Trevor did so, forcing the guy to play the ball defensively, meaning Australia won. This action, although legal at the time, which also wouldn't be legal now.
Yeah, it's not legal anymore.
Was nevertheless widely perceived as being wholly against the traditional spirit of cricketing fair play, which, as we all know,
let's be honest, we don't give 2 shits about the spirit of cricket anymore. Again, fuck Johnny Bairstow.
It's about the spirit of cricket, though.
I said, fuck that redhead rain.
And the series was tied 1-1 at the time too, so this was going to be to win it.
There were so many other ways that they could have done that. Instead of it still gets talked about literally to this day every time Australia and New Zealand play cricket against each other.
Well, it gets talked about anytime anyone talks about cheating as well. The Prime Minister of New Zealand made a slight statement saying
slight statement.
Well, he wasn't very passionate. He just said it was the most disgusting incident I can recall in the history of cricket.
Yeah.
He said it was an act of true cowardice, and I consider it appropriate that the Australian team will be wearing yellow. Now, I don't get that. Maybe he was talking about how they peed themselves. Maybe he just liked a golden shower and was like, good one, boys. And apparently that was contrary to all traditions of the game. We can't have a talk about greatest moments in cheating in sport without mentioning Australia's greatest Olympic moment. Stephen Bradbury.
This is the most legendary thing in history.
It would have been better if he was somehow involved in making it happen, but you know... He's the most inspiring man.
You reckon the odds, right, when he lines up for the semi-final in this 1,000-metre skating event of him winning the gold medal are? What do you reckon the odds?
70,000 to 1.
Exactly.
I reckon you got better chance of playing for Essendon, which isn't saying much because they do.
How I reckon I did have a better chance of playing AFL football than he did.
At that time, you were young enough that if you dedicated yourself, you could have.
I probably could have.
Yeah.
At the time, I probably had a better chance of him
fat
playing.
Loser now, you would have been.
That's true.
Just think, you could have got banned for a year for drugs if you'd gone and tried to play for them. Same old Aussies.
Cheating.
Always cheating.
Always.
Oh,
I forgot. Same old Aussies, always cheating.